Gothy did not deserve that bottom placement. Hi, hello, Drag Race fans. Welcome in. My name is Jer. UKvtW2 has come out, and I'm obsessed. I'm going to be reviewing this season as opposed to 16, just because I really am feeling very connected with this cast. I didn't know really any of them going into it. I watched UK1, UK2, UK4, I skimmed 3, and of course I've watched the American franchises, but I had no frame of reference for anybody else on this season, and now I'm so excited to see more. I can't wait to go and watch these seasons and find out more about who these queens are, but for now, I'm really excited that I get a chance to see them in this cool element. I hope you're enjoying this season as much as I am, because I'm living. I'm gonna try to make this like a weekly Sunday series, so we'll see if I can keep up with that. For now, let's talk about this season. This is episode 1, the Queens Variety Show. I gotta put it out there first. I'm kind of bummed that there's no Canadian queens. 11 is such a weird number, and I don't know why this year is the year of 11s. We had 11 on season 5 of UK, we had 11 in Canada, we had 11 on Dragula, and now 11 in Versus the World. From what I've heard, there was supposed to be an extra queen on each one of these seasons, and that person dropped literally the week or two before. That could have been because of COVID, that could have been scheduling things. This type of situation happens on these types of reality shows all the time. It's just weird and coincidental that it's happened so much this year. And I think one more girl would have really rounded this out. And who I would have loved to have seen is Vivian Vanderpuss from Canada season 3. Vivian was so funny, so entertaining, really bombastic, had a great outlook on life, had a really fun drag, silly camp looks, and I think would have worked really well dynamically in this. And I know a lot of people are like, where's the Canada girl? But nobody's really suggested who they would have wanted to have seen. And for me, it's Vivian. I think that this would have been way too soon for anybody from 4 because, I mean, Melinda Verga for every season of Drag Race. We need that. So let's get into the intros. I want to kind of talk about how I'm feeling about everybody because, again, I had no real context for anybody this season, so I didn't know what to expect. We got Tia Kofi, who I loved in her season from UK2. Having Tia be the first one out was very smart because Tia is hilarious. She's got a great personality. She is so fun and charismatic. Tia's bombastically entertaining. And I think having her come out first was good. Next up, we got Hanaconda. I'll be honest, I watched UK because the first season really sold it to me. But when Ru decided to host Down Under, I lost interest because of Ru's judging. I don't even think that Ru should be hosting UK. I think that should be somebody else. I think that Ru should not be hosting Down Under. There's completely different drag styles across oceans, and Ru has a hard enough time judging people within her own country. But I think I need to just give it a chance, and I need to see if I actually like it. I love this look though, and I'm really, really excited for Hannah, and I think initially, I gotta say it now, she was robbed this episode. Next we have Arantxa from España season 1. Saying she's the Spanish Hannah Montana took me out because Alexis Mateo already has that role on lock. And I love that her big line was, did someone order a Spanish loser? And I love her already. I'm super excited. What I'm enjoying so far about a lot of these performers is that they're sort of midway out contestants, rather than the last UK versus the World where we got a lot of mix of people who went really far all the way to the end and people who kind of went home early. So we got a really nice balance, I think, this time around. Didn't feel overinflated with anyone that felt like, ooh, you're gonna win. Well, until Marina came in, but we'll get there. Next we have Mayhem Miller. May's there. I don't think I have been shy about saying that I did not like working with Mayhem in the years that I did when I was still doing drag. My opinion hasn't really changed that much. She looked gorgeous, and I will give props where props are due, but I can't really say I'm like excited about May being there. And that's just personal experience. I typically don't judge the queens based off of anything about them and more about their looks, what they present on the show, things like that. She kind of came in with this attitude of like, I don't know anybody, I didn't watch their seasons, but they all know me. And that was very American mindset to be like, I'm the center of the world, everyone knows me, but then not really knowing anything about anybody else rubbed me the wrong way. That's my personal annotation for that moment. Sue me. Next is Theresa May, and I was very excited to see her here. I skimmed season 3 of UK. I skimmed it, very heavily skimmed. And I just kept feeling like the whole time something was really rushed about the whole season, and there's rumors that it was because they were filming something else in the UK. I think it was UK1 versus the world. And so they rushed through this so that they could get the production schedule going for that. And even though that's a rumor that Willem drummed up, I'm inclined to believe it because something feels sped up about that. I really enjoyed this blue look, and I'm so excited to see more from her. She's really funny. And she also seems just genuinely interested in getting to know everyone. And I loved how sweet and warm she felt. She reminded me of like my aunties who just really love people. And I loved that. Next, we have La Grande Dame from France season 1, who, is this the trait of the season? Please tell me I'm not alone. I think La Grande Dame might be the trait of this season. Her line, I'm not rude, I'm not pretentious, I'm French, took me out. I loved the look. I loved the presentation. I loved the personality. I love someone who's gorgeous and then acts stupid. That's my favorite thing in the entire world. I love that shit. I eat it up. Give me more. Next, we have Marina Summers from Philippines season 1. And my God, I've never seen a queen this beautiful ever. Sorry about it. There are a lot of beautiful queens who have come through the RuPaul's Drag Race franchise globally. Marina's top 3 easily. Both in and out of drag, just has beautiful facial features, beautiful bone structure, and knows how to paint and complement her face really well. And Marina's like this big, which I think also kind of adds to this glamour thing because she's so tiny. But in drag, she looks huge and powerful and grand. And to be so small and look so big, that's a talent. I really loved her presentation. I loved this outfit coming in. Loved her entrance line. Loved having the sword. Her sword work was incredible. I think I rewound and watched her twirl that sword like 6 times because I needed to keep watching her hands while doing it. This is someone I'm gonna be very excitedly watching out for, but I'm also really nervous because of RuPaul's track record with the AAPI community, and that worries me. But I think Marina could take it. I really think that she's like the number 1, and right now, she's it for me. Next up, we have Jonbers Blonde from season 4 of UK. Next, we have Jonbers Blonde from UK season 4, and this look was rancid. Mama, this was so bad. Jonbers should have been in the bottom this episode. I don't really think that Jonbers was the best representation from 4. It would have been so unfair to bring Cheddar, even though that's who I really want to see. But I mean, Dakota would have been so fun here too. I just know that Rue loves Jonbers, and I do get the very distinct feeling that she's gonna get bagged through the competition. Love the energy though. Then we got Kita Minaj from Holland season 2. I did not watch Holland season 2, I only watched 1. I loved Fred as a judge, but I heard that 2 was a little bit odd. I think that maybe Kita might be the actual trait of the season, but La Grande Dame is also kind of the trait of the season. I'm really excited to see more from her. I think she's gonna be a cool one to watch. Then we got Scarlet Envy from season 11 and All-Star 6, looking like Katy Perry right out of the gate, even to the way that she was smiling and emoting as she was walking down the runway. Like, she never stopped from the time that she did that performance in All-Star 6, just was Katy Perry for the next several years. Very excited for Scarlett to hopefully get a chance to show a little bit more, and hopefully she doesn't sabotage herself along the way. One of Scarlett's big problems is that she self-sabotages her, and I feel like that's what she did in both 11 and in 6. So hopefully this time, none of that exists. Then finally, we have Gothy Kendall from season 1 of UK. Rawr! I love Gothy. I think that she was such a fun choice to bring in, but kind of felt like maybe production fodder as a first out, and that felt bad, but I'm so glad that she made it to episode 2. Gothy's really fun. I think she's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm curious how much they're going to talk about the sex work, because that seems to be a really big part of Gothy's online presence now. Obviously, Gothy probably works and probably does drag stuff still, but I know Gothy most because of the sex work. And so I'm curious if that'll be addressed at all, or if that's gonna kind of just get swept under the rug and the storyline will be first out and now you're back and what are you gonna do this time? And I feel like it might lean more towards that, but I would love to hear the intersectionality of sex work and drag race popularity, and that would be something that I would be interested in, that we'd probably see on a Canada season. If Gothy were on Canada versus the world, we absolutely would have gotten that storyline, and it's just a shame that this is a Ru judge season because we don't get those storylines from her production team. When Raven came out and said, "What, no Jujubee?" that took me out and sent me up to space as well. I love that we're referencing all the memes and understanding that Juju is a stamp on RuPaul's Drag Race, and we gotta keep bringing her up. Also, was RuPaul sick? Like, RuPaul was deathly ill. Was RuPaul a super spreader during this versus the world event? I know that production has to move. People are booked. People are set in the places that they're in. They book this actor for the 3rd. They book this actor for the 5th for a guest judge. They book this actor for the 7th as a guest judge, and they book this one on the 8th. And if Ru's sick and dying of COVID, they gotta push everything back, and that's annoying. But I would much rather them push everything and say, okay, we're just gonna have to reschedule. I'm so sorry. If you can't come, we got backups, rather than make everybody sick. Even if it wasn't COVID, it seems really irresponsible to blatantly show RuPaul sick, practically sniffling on the runway, having moments during the judging panel where she's talking like this. Was that your intention to do it that way? It's irresponsible at the end of the day. And they don't have those little fake glass platelets to pretend that they're caring about social distancing anymore. My child says hello. And if it wasn't COVID, I wish that production had put something out and been like, hey, Ru's sick, but it's not COVID, don't worry. Or if Ru had just acknowledged, I'm under the weather, but it's not COVID, I've already tested, I'm golden. I would have loved that. That would have been nice. And I think that would have been a little more socially responsible to put into the universe. Anyway, that was another personal aside I had to bring up. Ru also mentions that this season there will be a cash prize of £50,000, which Blue did a really funny reaction to, where her eye was just twitching after hearing this news. But I gotta know, how are they doing that? I thought the BBC had very strict stipulations that you were not allowed to give out cash as a prize for a contest. So how is Drag Race doing this? I still don't know. And there's no answers, and I can't find any anywhere. How are they doing this? Does anyone know? So all the girls go into the workroom to start unpacking, and the UK girls get together to discuss an alliance. And we find out that among all 4 UK seasons, when this is UK versus the world, they have 1 win between all 4 of them. That's hysterical and also really worrisome. Is this going to be UK versus the world, or are they all gonna end up being flopperellas and out before it's even started? I do think that production really wanted to get Gothy out early, just really stamping in that pork chop memorabilia to her. And I'm so glad that she didn't. I want to see these girls succeed. So let's get into the talent shows. Oh, sorry, not a talent show, variety show. Opening the show, we have Theresa May giving us a fun lip sync to a song that she's already recorded. It was very cute, it was really fun, high energy. I found it to be really high safe. Then we have Scarlet Envy giving us super flat live singing. It didn't sound good. And it was trying to be silly. It was referencing a lot of the show, referencing jokes that Ru probably didn't understand, that whoever was in her earpiece was like, laugh at that, don't laugh at that, laugh at that. Probably it was Raven. She, I think, watches the show. And that was a really low placement for me, but I thought it was low safe. It just lacked a little finesse. I think if Scarlett was trying to be funny and farcical, she should have done a voice and not tried to be so serious about singing it. That was where she kind of fell flat for me. Then we have La Grande Dame doing this live DJ moment that was hysterical. When she came out and snorted and then started laughing, I was so confused. But I liked it. It was an odd performance, but somehow I was living. That was a very high placement for me. Then was Gothy Kendall doing a fire play and a dance. And I loved Gothy at the very end being kind of surprised that it all worked and that she didn't burn the entire stage down. That was both hilarious and also super troublesome. Like, what if she failed? Did she not practice it? What if the whole stage went up? What if she caught fire? That would have been a mess. That was like a low placement for me, but I don't think it was that bad of deserving a bottom 3. Then we had Marina Summers giving us a lip sync. And the first thing that I wrote in my notes was, is that her voice? If so, this is the best singer in RuPaul's Drag Race history. She is stunning visually, looks like the full package, and then comes out and does that as a talent show. And you're telling me that that's not the winner? No, that's the winner of the show, y'all. That's the winner of everything. You put Marina in every season and she'd beat everyone. That was my number 1 performance of the night. Then we had Kita Minaj giving us a really odd K-hole number. It was really weird, but it was good, I think. As a personal aside, I understand her name. It's a reference to a drug, which I don't know if I can say on YouTube. I really don't know, so I'm gonna be more careful. If you know what K is, you know that that's like a really big party drug. It's very common in the drag scene. It's very common in the nightclub scene. I have a personal quarrel, not trying to be like all dare or anything about this. DARE for anyone who grew up in the 90s, 2000s and saw this. I think that we really should stop romanticizing hard drug use or even recreational drug use in the gay and queer community. Our communities suffer so exponentially from heavy drug use, and glorifying and glamorizing it, I think, is really harmful. I support people's decisions to do whatever they want, but when we have such a overinflation of that being a problem, I personally don't find that comedy funny. That's just me. And that's because I see that it's a problem and an epidemic in our community. And if you think like, oh, it's just drag, it's just a joke, it's not that serious, there's not really much more that I could say to you to make you understand where I'm coming from. So anyway, that was kind of low for me. Okay, so then we have my other top 3 performance of the evening, and that was Hannah Conda giving us this really funny piano bar style variety show number where she does all this comedy in between, breaking to say, okay, well, since we pretty much resolved that I'm not actually playing this, I'm gonna get somebody else to come out here and do it for me. Well, she then sang and did more jokes. Then the reveal, oops, wrong costume. Brilliant! I've never seen that on Drag Race, and I'm so glad that she did it. God, that was funny. This was top 2 easily of the night. Hannah was hilarious and was robbed of a top 3 placement. Robbed, I tell you. Then we have Mayhem Miller giving us the worst talent show, variety show performance that I've ever seen on Drag Race ever. It had such a nice concept, and when it started with the guided meditation, Shaka Khan, never trust a fart, I'm like, oh my god, maybe Mayhem's got me. Maybe this is like her redemption moment. I'm really here for it. And then she laughed, and it was Tatiana in the Snatch Game of All Stars 2, and then it got more uncomfortable, and then she admitted that she didn't know her words, and I forget who said it, but we don't know what her words are. So if she forgot them, she could have improv'd and started just saying other things, and then it went to, don't ever let anybody tell you you're not beautiful, and it was such a weird departure from the message, which was silly and odd, and like, she could have easily just kept doing stupid jokes. That would have been so easy to commit to. It's not rocket science. And May just couldn't commit to it, and that was disappointing, and it just flopped. That was the worst performance of the night for me. Then we had Arancha showing us how to pronounce her name, and I thought it was funny, but I also didn't, I don't know. It was kind of a low placement for me. I thought it had something interesting going on. I like the idea of it being like a wet dream, I guess. But then it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really do anything. But it got audience participation. So I feel like that says something. But for me, it was like a bottom 3 performance. Then we had Tia Kofi giving us a really fun song, great vocals, but it had no energy. She was like the stiffest robot, literally doing Lucy LaDuca Part 2. Like, there's this meme right now of all the different versions of Jan in Drag Race, and Tia was British Lucy in this particular meme set, giving us no energy at all, but singing decently. And it was so stiff that it was a bottom placement for me. This was definitely bottom 2 worthy, in my opinion. Then we get to the runways, and I want to talk very heavily about these. So we have Scarlet Envy as our very first one, giving us a look that she said was drop dead gorgeous. It was very cute. I love the reference to Mount Rushmore. I love this dress. It's really pretty, but it also isn't that much of a statement, in my opinion. It's pretty, but I think it sort of just stops there. And for me, this did solidify kind of a lower placement. Was this the worst of the night? No, it was still pretty decent, but it was definitely low. Then we have Kita Minaj giving us this sort of like Dutch milkmaid look, which I thought was really cute. I love this homage to her country. I love this look. I love these boots. These boots are everything and I would wear them all the time. I love the gloves, but then it's a tearaway to something else. And she said this was an Indonesian witch, paying homage to that part of her culture and heritage as well. And I love this look too. Oh my God, then we have Jumpers Blonde giving us a mess. I'm sorry, I don't like this look at all. I like the headpiece. The fascinator is fun. I like that it's sparkly, it's eye-catching. The green fabric at the top is really nice. Again, that's sparkly. The corset belt part is nice. It's a good eye catch to sort of slim in the waist. What I don't like is the skirt. My problem with the skirt is that it's... Wait, did I even talk about Jomber's performance? I just realized I didn't even talk about Jomber's performance. It was so bad and boring. We have to talk about how bad that performance was. It was giving Touch the Fashion Change Your Life, but more boring. I didn't learn anything about who she is. I didn't feel excited by the performance. I didn't feel enthralled or eye-caught or anything positive about it. It sort of just felt like, oh, with this fashion thing, like being a fashion queen, wear something that looks fashionable, maybe? And that brings us back to this runway where the skirt does not match the fabric at the top. And I feel like this bottom color, this pale mint color, it's not even mint. This pale forest green doesn't match at all with the top. And if it had been the dark green that's present in this jacket, that would have been really nice. If it was that sort of lighter green, that shamrock green with the sparkles on it, that would have been nice. If it even had like some tulle on it, to just like a sparkly tulle over it, just to darken it a little bit. Because these color differences are not really eye-catching to me. I don't like the juxtaposition of these two colors. They either have to be completely opposite tones, like one being blue, one being green, or all the fabric being the same. And I hated that these were different colors. Plus, that performance being so bad, Jombers was my second least favorite of the night, and I thought should have been up for elimination with Mayhem. Sorry about it. Next is Arancha, and I loved this look so much. She said, I know that people's mouths are dropped, and my mouth legit dropped. I love this hat. I love the makeup. I love the hair. I love this flamenco style outfit so much. Loved this look. This felt very special. It felt important. Next up is Tia Kofi, and I really loved this look. This British and Nigerian mix of both her cultures blended in so perfectly. This beautiful hair that it looks like it grew out of her head. This is beautiful. This gorgeous dress, this lovely silhouette, beautiful makeup. Tia really has shown a level of elevation since her last time on TV. I love that the judges were playing around with her. I love that they were having fun with her. The performance, I think, did get balanced out a little bit by this outfit, and it sort of launched Tia into the bottom low placement right before being at bottom 3 for me. This was good. Next up, we have Marina Summers giving us a really couture farmer look, holding sticky rice in the basket. Oh my God, I love this look. This look is so good. This look is beautiful. It felt very special to me. It felt like this is something that she cared a lot about and that really meant something to her. And you can tell the way that she presents it on the runway that this is something that has meaning to her and has meaning to her culture. And again, the fact that Marina is like literally this big and looks so big and tall and statuesque on the runway, I think really speaks to how smart she is about proportionizing. The way that this drapes off the shoulder, the way that it just has enough of a cutoff to show this midriff here. Really intelligent style choices to make her look longer and stretch her upwards. And she looked beautiful. This was my favorite look of the entire night. Next up is Theresa May giving us a very British style look. It's a guard, it's night. There's not really like a ton that makes me think, wow, never seen that before. But it's fun, and I don't think I've seen something like this on Drag Race, so I enjoyed it. It was definitely a safe look for me. Next, we have Mayhem Miller giving us a glamour Statue of Liberty. I do love this. I won't lie. This is a really solid look. We got a lot of Statues of Liberty during season 9, I believe. A lot of interpretations of that. I don't really know what Mayhem could have done to represent the IE or Los Angeles or Southern California as an empire. The goal is to represent the country, and the Statue of Liberty represents the country, and so this is a solid look. It's really good. This is one of my favorite Statues of Liberty that I've seen on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm glad that someone finally did it justice and made her look glamorous. Then we have Gothy Kendall giving us a very cool looking guard that's all cinched in and has all of these interesting proportions with the sleeve detail and the hip detail, having all these really fitted moments with the corset, this big hat. Gothy looked great. This solidified Gothy in a safe position for me. Because this look was so solid, it sort of fell in line with where Scarlett was. It was a good look, and so it just elevated the performance out enough from the bottom 3. Next, we have La Grande Dame giving us the Eiffel Tower and what she called a national frog. I didn't know that France had a national frog. I'm on this weird part of TikTok where there's this girl who talks about the differences between America and France. And in all this time, I've never learned anything about a national frog. But I loved this look. It was so silly and stupid and camp, but really glamorous. The color choices were super smart, and I think that's what elevated it from... It elevated it to a glamorous drag place. This feels like something that only a drag queen would wear. It's so fun. And again, I love a beautiful, stunning drag queen who's not afraid to do something dumb. Next, we have Hannah Conda giving us a lizard, complete with the blue tongue and everything. She said she was referencing Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and I thought this was really eye-catching. I love that it went to a drag place. This look is so good. And then she did this reveal talking about the Aboriginal First Nations people that often get overlooked in history. And I'm so glad that this got highlighted and showcased. So we get to deliberation, and it was honestly a crime that Hannah did not get top 3. I also really felt like Scarlett should have been safe, and Jombers easily should have been in bottom 2. Teresa in the top over Hannah was a really odd choice, and I know they praised that she was the first one out and the first one that set the energy bar, but there's not a live audience. I feel like you should really only get praised for opening a show when there's people that are watching you that are not just cast, crew, and the judges. You're not setting an energy. You're not letting the audience be primed. And yes, there's something to say about us being the audience, and we're going to feel an energy. And it was a good number, don't get me wrong, but it's not like there was anybody in the room to experience that. So it was just a really odd critique to give. Like, you open the show and that's a hard job. Is it? There's not an audience. So I don't know. I thought that was a weird critique. Teresa was great, but I didn't think it was top 3. Marina and La Grande Dame are the top 2 of the week, and this was so honestly deserved. I do wish that Hannah was up there because I really did like the performance and the runway a lot. And I feel like it was a crime that Hannah did not lip sync for the win, but Marina devoured. I don't think I watched anything La Grande Dame did because Marina caught my eye immediately and kept it. How can you be beautiful, talented, an incredible singer, great at drag, smart about your proportions, and then lip sync like that? And you want me to believe that anybody else is winning this season unless RuPaul herself goes in and intervenes and sticks her in the bottom for no reason? She's winning. Mark my words, she's winning. And if I'm wrong, I will put my foot in my mouth. May is out, and honestly, I think it was totally deserved. I think production probably wanted Gothi out first to be like, look, it's the pork chopped out again. But it would have been really unfair because the first time she got snubbed out, it was the first time UK had ever happened. There were no real rules. There were no ideas of what the show was supposed to be, and now it's grown to this place where it is now. And Gothi's come back and didn't do that badly. Her performance wasn't that bad, and her runway was beautiful. And they're like, oh, well, she's a little quiet. Yeah, that's just Gothi. That's her whole personality. She's just a quiet girl. That's fine. And to snub her chance now, before she's even really gotten to go, like if next week she flubs really bad, sure, send her home, booger her out. But she didn't do that bad. She didn't deserve to be in the bottom this week. Should have been somebody else. It should have been Chambers or Arancha in the bottom instead of her. Really odd choice. Scarlett being there made no sense either. That was weird to me. Next episode is the Happy Endings ball where they have to create a princess ball look. I'm so excited to see this. I don't know of this group who can sew and who can't. I don't imagine that Tia's gonna do very well just because the first time around. As for everybody else, I really don't know what their skills and talents are with sewing, so it's hard for me to even predict what I think is gonna happen next. But I'm more excited for this season than I have of anything in a long time. And I just hope that it doesn't Turd City. Because if it does, I'm suing. I'm suing RuPaul's Drag Race. If Ru somehow manages to mess up this season, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna sue everybody. And anyone who's adjacent to RuPaul, I'm suing them. RuPaul's gardener, I'm suing them too. What did you think? Did you like this episode? Are you liking this season? Who is your winner? If it's not Marina, what are you doing? And keep an eye out for these. I'm gonna try to do them every week. Take care of yourselves and hopefully see you soon. And if you're interested in other Drag Race content, I put out stuff every now and again, but I tend to be more of a gamer-focused YouTuber. So if you like gaming, you like Drag Race, check out my channel. See you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.